Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, folks? JT here with another Chart Talk Live brought to you by Xtrades. It is Tuesday, February the 24th. Hope everybody's doing well. Get over to the chat. What's up, Navy Plum? Good morning, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Screen sharing is caring. There we go. All right, that's good. YouTube looks good. All right, what's up, LB? What's up, Navy Plum? Good to see you both here. Oh, excuse me. A little water in my life. All right, sorry. Get one more down here. What's up, new trader? Good to see you. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. All right. Okay, there we go. Good to go. What's up, Kimberly? Good to see you. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. All right, so let's dig in, folks. What are we seeing here in the markets? What should we be prepared for? How should this be informing our trading decisions? Those of you who have been paying much attention to what I've been saying in the various chat channels in Xtrades, we are definitely in a very volatile, very broad range at the moment. Funny enough, we had a little top earners meeting last night, and Shinobi and I were talking about this. And we kind of both came to the same conclusion, which is it's incredibly hard to tell what the hell the market wants to do right now. So, with that being said, and there are a lot of catalyst factors in the mix there. Obviously, what is continuing to happen on the back of the SCOTUS decision to strike down the IEEPA tariffs as unconstitutional, which I personally agreed with. Um, so now there's all the turmoil and discussion and changes and uncertainty around, okay, well, how is the current administration going to try to figure out how to put these taxes back in place? And so that is continuing to keep the markets on their toes. We also have NVIDIA earnings next week. I think the market is very much hanging on to see what happens with that. But if we take a second and we zoom out, let's go here to the weekly chart to start with. I shared this in the elite options chat recently. This is just kind of my take on it. And again, we have to, or not we, but my personal approach is if I'm, just totally unsure and not confident in, what the bias should be at the moment, the best thing we can do is zoom out, take a look at the charts on higher time frames, and try to get a sense of what we can see is going on from a more big picture macro perspective. So I mentioned this in the chat. Let me hide this real quick. So we had this trend line that the market was riding pretty much every weekly test, 1, 2, 3, 4. That tested this trend line here, has bounced and bounced pretty nicely. Then we had a week where it looked like we were going to close below it, but then we had that massive Friday rally. I mean, this weekly candle was saved from closing below that trend literally on that Friday. So then the following week before last, we finally got our close below, and then last week, this to me looks like we hit right on a level where it was very iffy. Was this going to be a reclaim of that trend, or is this going to be a back test and a rejection? To me, it looks like a back test and rejection so far. And I'd say that certainly holds true given what we're seeing so far this week. We do have a daily demand zone down below, but we also have this downtrend forming overhead. 1, 2, 3, nice clean rejections, all right in a row. This is just my opinion, my perspective. To me, this all looks to be signaling, again, a near term, corrective pullback phase in the markets. That is, I'm not saying we're going to zero. I'm not saying that, everything's cooked, pull all your money out of the markets or anything like that. All that I'm saying is I think that on the loss of this trend and what appears to be a back test and rejection of that trend, and this overhead trend forming here, I see a lot of things telling me that we are probably going to see a pullback here. And so, for me, if I'm targeting a pullback, I did a fib retracement on this move to the upside. We do have a nice daily demand zone down here. It was a level that we caught off this weekly support and resistance level here at 64.77. We caught that, and that sent us on a pretty nice move to the upside. So I'd expect buyers to step back in at that same level, which I don't think by any coincidence also almost perfectly lines up with the 50% retracement here of this upside move to the all-time highs, and puts us in that daily demand zone. So lots of things telling me that we should see some kind of a pullback to 64.77. I'm not saying it's going to take place over this length of time, but that is where this trend is pointing. So I would say, if this theory is going to play out as I anticipate, at worst case, we should see that 64.77 hit sometime by August, if not sooner. Again, we could pull back harder, catch that level, bounce, and then break right through this in the matter of 4 or 5 weeks. So again, just kind of my perspective on things. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I have a crystal ball. But what I am saying is, if I'm making an honest and unbiased assessment of what I'm seeing on this chart based on these trends, where these support resistances are setting, where the fib setting up, where the fib levels are setting up. Again, a lot of things are telling me that we're heading toward that 64.70 to 70, or 64.70 to 64.80 area before we likely see a bounce and potentially new all-time highs from there. So anyway, that's just my quick take on the markets in general. And again, I know I kind of shared that in the I think it was in the Elite Xtrades chat or something like that fairly recently, but I just wanted to kind of talk through it and give you all my perspective in real time with full explanations on what I'm seeing and why I'm saying what I'm saying. I am absolutely capable of being wrong. Nvidia earnings, I kind of thought that the tariff decision might be the thing that shifts this whole narrative. It wasn't enough, which I was kind of surprised by. But then again, we still do have tariff issues and concerns looming overhead. So now Nvidia earnings is up, and that's coming up next week. So that should be a very interesting indicator as to what direction the market's going to go from there. All right, so with that being said, let's get to some trade plan recaps, and then we'll work on some new trade plans. Man, people are sleeping on us this morning. Let me put this announcement out in the main chat real quick. They missed the good stuff. All right, so let's get some trade plan recaps here. We did Micron last Tuesday, so here we are a week later revisiting this trade plan. It did give us the break above and the back test of our call entry, and from there ran all the way up to PT1 plus, topped out NTS, caught it right there, perfect rejection on NTS. But pushed up above, back tested that PT1, looked like it wanted more, but it is forming a bit of a downtrend. It is still under some bearish selling pressure here, which is pretty interesting given, wait, no, I'm talking about pins and looking at, I'm reading this Micron thing up here and I'm looking at the pins chart. Sorry about that. Talking about pins here. I was going to say, I'm surprised, and then I noticed what the prices were. I was like, wait a second, that's not Micron. Duh. So, going back to the pins chart, I was saying I'm surprised because memory names are running so hot. Pins does look to be following this downward trend. Again, bearish flag here on NTS, clean rejection up there, sending it back down toward the call entry level. So pins is starting to give me vibes like it might want to see another pullback and maybe even a retest of this put entry support that it bounced off of right after their earnings report. So keep an eye on pins. This one, again, looking for a pullback to 1606 for a potential long opportunity. But I think an even better, more patient entry would be to wait for it to come back and back test 1386 again to see if we get a double bottom, and that doesn't get it moving. So next we have MU. This time I am talking about the right chart. Um, so Micron has, sorry, let me silence my phone. Micron has, zoom out here, we're on a small time frame. There we go. Has stayed on the call side of this trade plan for the most part. Did give us some after hours fake downs there, but ultimately did break above. Looked like it was back testing and holding, then it came back for the stop loss average down level. Never invalidated that. And looks like it's trying to make a stretch for that PT1 finally, but definitely kind of looking like the market's right now. Just very broad ranges, very choppy, very volatile, but contained, not really moving up or down with any significant direction or momentum. So Micron, just keep an eye on it. Silver, IHO Silver. Let's get to the right spot on the chart. Why did I not drop a line on this? This would have been last Tuesday. Yeah. So silver's been holding this uptrend and was in a bit of a triangle pattern. It did break out from that and is now pushing higher. It's created a gap below here as of Monday's open, so that could be an interesting point of gravity that might pull silver back down toward this 76.87 level. But if it does, we could see a nice bounce off that before it pushes higher. But overall, this trade plan's played out for all of our upside price targets. So congrats on that and then some. And then on this past Thursday, we did FIG. FIG has really kind of created a lot of volatility both to the upside and the downside, but ultimately after the dust settled from their earnings report, has given us a breakdown below, is now back testing this put entry at 24.85, 200 SMA coming down overhead, short signal, bearish momentum, but does have some buying pressure down there, especially close to that 22.88 target. So keep an eye on this one. FIG could wind up being a pretty good short opportunity here, but I would definitely scale out heavily at 22.88. And then Apple, also from last Thursday, we did, this one did give us a break over this downtrend that it seemed to be stuck under for a little bit, but not until after it tested PT2 for puts. And then from there, last Friday, gave us a push to the upside. Then it back tested the put entry as support here yesterday. That gave it a push all the way up above the call entry, came back, tested the call stop loss average down level, held that nicely. So Apple might be trying to make a push. If it does give us a break over 267.88, this one will be an interesting one to keep on watch, because if it breaks over this 200 SMA as well, I could certainly see Apple making some pretty bullish moves, at least in the short term. HIMS, when did we do the HIMS plan? I don't know why I have this up. Maybe I was just looking at the chart from their earnings report. HIMS, no surprises here. I said, watch for this demand zone down here. I think that that's where it's most likely going to bounce. If it's going to bounce anytime soon, it's certainly trying to bounce off of this demand zone here pre-market. After that earnings report, dropped it a little bit further, but still down 6% here pre-market and stuck under this weekly resistance at 14.79. So HIMS, especially with some of the negative catalysts they have floating around out there, I'd say, you could be cautiously optimistic, maybe, buy shares around these levels and plan to hold for an extended period of time. I will say if it loses this demand zone, it could drop quite a bit more. So I'd say, anything under 1330 is a danger zone if you wanted to try to start to accumulate some shares here. But again, I'd recommend caution. Hims, the chart overall is still extremely bearish. As you can see there, nice rejection off NTS there, took it down to that demand zone. But this may be the thing that pushes us back over some of these resistance factors, but TBD. All right, so we just did the silver update LB. Hopefully that gets you what you need. GLW. When did we talk about that? I know I remember it. It's like Galway or something like that. Corning glass. That's right. What was our trade plan on this? Why don't I have any levels here? That's definitely weird. Well, I don't have an update to give you because I don't know what I did with all my drawings on this chart. Week high 148.70, 149.20. This is like all-time high breakout. Yeah. Yeah, let's focus on some other names. I'd be very skeptical. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Well, the update is looks like we've hit all, if not all, most of our targets there to the upside. Let's see. What were those levels? Well, we've got new highs here, and the other kind of concern I would have is those highs are, we haven't really seen a good retracement or back test of those highs. That being said, yeah, this one's incredibly strong. Yeah, this is a tricky one. I mean, there's a potential, not confirmed trend there. I don't know if we extend that back if we get a third touch. Let's see. I didn't think so. I mean, there is a set of extensions to be drawn. Probably be looking to draw them off of that. Yeah, it's probably sitting right about there. So we're right up against a potential extension target here at 148.94. But if we stay over that, I'd be looking for 154.20, and that's just my best guess. I would certainly consider it. I would not say just blindly sell everything. All right, let's take a look at some trade plans, though. Let's look at Reddit. If anybody else has any other ticker requests, feel free to go ahead and start dropping those in the chats. I'll try to get to as many of these as I possibly can today. Reddit is definitely red. Get it? Reddit. Okay. Awesome. Good jokes. What would we want to do with Reddit? What's up, Crypto Painter? What's up, Checker? Good morning to you guys. I will try to take a look at least one of those. Crypto Painter, you just missed it. We literally just talked about silver like 2 seconds ago. But you can rewatch it on YouTube. Yeah, sorry about that, man. Literally, like, within the last 5 minutes, we just talked about silver. All right. All right, let's take a shot at this. We might. This could be a little bit early. I think the resistance we really want to get over is this level right here, but I think we can use that as a PT1 and maybe get a little bit of a head start. If there is an upside move getting ready to play out here on Reddit, would set my stops here on this trade plan. PT2, let's see. That's kind of what I was eyeballing. Yeah, I think I might have this level a little bit or low. I mean, sorry. Yeah, it's kind of what. Yep. Yeah, I like that. Make that PT3 downside. Interesting sweeps below this level. 37.17. Hmm. All right, let's take a shot at this. Yeah. All right. First target. This downside plan right there. Yeah, there is a level sitting right here. I'm gonna circle back and take a revisit of these two levels later on my own time, but I think this is the key level right there at 122.05. And then down to 113.48. All right. Looks like a trade plan to me. So let's get it. There we go. That looks good. All right. Let's clean this up. All right. Looks good to me. Let's go. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Good morning. Good to see you. We'll try to take a look at Hut or CoreWeave for sure. Here is your Reddit live stream plan. What's up, Daily Bull? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Stream plan. Cool. Let's get our link. Lock this in. Set the alerts. Oh yeah, actually it is going to be Monday. All right, alerts are set. Let's talk through this one last time. What are we looking for here on Reddit? We're looking for a break above 154.04 to make a move to the upside that should bring targets at 164.57, 173.85, and 181.69 with a stop loss average down at 147.81. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 138.44 that should bring targets at 129.80. 122.05 and 113.48 with a stop loss average down at 144.08. Those are your Reddit live stream plans. Let's go. All right, let's see. We got Xena and SoFi, but Ryan did get a couple. I am interested. Let's take a look at these two charts, but I'm interested personally in taking a look at CoreWeave again. Oops, helps if I put the right symbol in there. All right. Interesting. Right in the midst of some old trade plan levels, but this is a name that I haven't looked at in a little bit, so let me revisit this, get my bearings on it real quick. Let's zoom out some here. Yeah, like I said, just volatile ranges. We're seeing that on a lot of names right now. Sold. Yeah, that's kind of the level I was looking at anyway, but it seems like could or should be a potential earlier entry on this, but could be wrong. Really thinking this 114 is the level we need to break. Yeah, I don't. There's just a lot of potential rejection issues leading all the way up to that level. That being said, I think you can play it with a fairly tight stop if it gives us a break over that level. Should provide okay risk reward, taking it up to that 104.95 as a first target. Definitely like this 111.67 as a second target. And if we can break over that, yeah, should take us up to 119.49. So we're not going to give that one a lot of room to play out, but I think that that's appropriate. All right, so where does downside come into play? Yeah, let's look. Go short on this one below 83.22. Like that as a stop loss. So again, could trade inside this range, rejections up in this 96.79 to 114, bounces down in this 87.29 to 83.22 area. they also have earnings coming up Thursday, so be mindful of that. I would not recommend swinging contracts through earnings on CoreWeave. It's just a little bit off. Yeah. I think that makes for a good second price target with that adjustment made. Interesting double bottom down here, just above this daily support and resistance, I should say. Yeah, there's definitely another level there, right about here. All right. So, very, very broad range between these entries. Let's get this locked in. Whoops. 14, 111.67 and 279.35, 48, and 70. 729. Cool, that looks good. Throw those on there. Let's clean this up real quick. All right. Looks pretty good. Let's go. Here comes your CoreWeave live stream plans. Chat. Message link. Let's get our alert set. Cool. Let's lock in our template. All right, that's good. Set our alerts. Cool. Keep forgetting it will be March when this expires. All right, so let's talk through this one more time. What are we looking for here on CoreWeave? We're looking for a break over 114. That should bring targets at 104.95, 111.67, and 119.49 with a stop loss average down at 96.79. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 83.22. That should bring downside targets at 79.35, 76.48, and 70.70 with a stop loss average down at 87.29. Those are your CoreWeave live stream plans. All right, let's see, 903. Let's see if we can knock out one more trade plan. What do we have? Who asked for what? Looks like, yeah, some pretty broad ranges here, but again, that's just what the market volatility is doing for us. SoFi, that was the other one. Let's take a quick look at SoFi. SoFi still under this. Wow, SoFi has really pulled back. This might be one to start buying some shares on. All right, let's see. There's our levels. What does this look like? Interesting support. It just broke. $18.51, $18.16. All right, let's take a shot at this. Again, might be a little bit of an early start here on SoFi, but kind of like the setup. Does look a bit oversold, but things that are oversold can stay oversold, that's for sure. All right, 21.99. It's been a while since I've updated these levels, and this certainly looks like it's shifted down to here. It's easy for an upside plan. Let's see about the downside. Um, yeah, there. Ultimate downside target down there to 1472. Okay, cool. That was easier than I thought it was going to be. All right, let's get this locked in. 16 takes it up to 96, 2075, and 2201. 1472. Stop loss average down at 1790. All right, cool, cool, cool. Looks good. There, throw this on the hourly chart. Yep. Here comes your, come on, get in the chat box. SoFi live stream plan. And let's get this over to the chat. Let's grab our link. Okay, cool, cool. Let's save our template so I don't forget. Yes. And let's set our alerts. 1 hour, perfect. All right, let's talk through this one last time. What are we looking for here on SoFi? We are looking for a break over 1916. That should bring targets at 1986, 2075, and 2201, with the stop loss average down at 1851. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 1715. That should bring price targets at 1611, 1548, and 1472, with a stop loss average down at 1790. Those are your SoFi live stream plans. All right, folks, I think we're at a good stopping point for me to go get to work on the SPY plan. Just a friendly reminder, I go out of town starting Thursday. I do get back super late Monday evening. So next Tuesday, I'm going to try to do a live stream for my first day back from my trip. But depending on how late we get back and getting our bags and getting home and all that sort of stuff, next Tuesday is iffy. Worst case, next Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be back live without a doubt, but potentially next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Definitely no live stream. I'll be probably on an airplane around this time Thursday. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We will be back at the latest next Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but potentially next Tuesday. I'll try to get an announcement out somewhere Monday night when we get back to let y'all know if there is going to be a live stream Tuesday morning or not. So, with that being said, as we always recommend here on Chart Talk Live, plan your trades, trade your plans. Remember, we're looking for profits, not perfection. So, go out there, keep those wins big, keep those losses small, secure the bag, have a fantastic day, and have a safe trading journey while I am out starting Thursday. I look forward to catching up with you all next week. Until then, take care.